Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Chalk Talk here in the DK Pittsburgh Sports Steelers YouTube channel. Chris Halicke here. We are completely moving on from the 299-yard rushing game that we've been going over the last 3 days. We're done. It's over. We're going to look into something more interesting, and I recently wrote an article. I will put the link in the description. I urge you to go read it because it has way more data than I'm going to put in here. I am just going to map this stuff out for you, but 2024 was not a good look at what Arthur Smith wants to do on offense. He had a running back in Najee Harris that was not a good outside zone, wide zone runner. He had a quarterback in Russell Wilson who did not consistently target the middle of the field, specifically out of play action. The Steelers were fourth lowest in the NFL in play action passes that attacked the middle of the field. So that's not what Arthur Smith wants to do. When he was head coach of Atlanta, they were top 7 all 3 years. When he was in Tennessee, and those offenses were going crazy, that's what he did in Tennessee. When they were phenomenal. It wasn't just Derrick Henry; it was also Ryan Tannehill working off of play action and attacking. So, what does Arthur Smith want to do in play action? Well, this is just a little taste of it. This isn't everything. This is part of it. And this really goes into the Shanahan concepts that he learned from Matt LaFleur was the offensive coordinator at Tennessee prior to Arthur Smith taking over as OC there. And he learned a lot from LaFleur. And LaFleur was he's a direct branch on the Kyle Shanahan tree, the Mike Shanahan tree. So these are 3 Shanahan play action concepts that are in Arthur Smith's playbook. And right here, this is even from a play last year. This one is called burner. And so what this play is you have a corner route or a pylon route like this, and then you have a high crosser that comes across like this. And this is meant to be read. And this is in the Kyle Shanahan book, 1 to 2. Okay, that's the way it's meant to be read. If you have favorable coverage with your first read right there, then that's who you throw to. But the great thing about this concept burner is that this number 1 clears space for the number 2. Specifically, again, against multiple coverages, but specifically against middle field closed coverages. When you're looking at middle field closed, you are looking at right here. This is the safety in the middle of the field. This is a single high safety look. The Jets are showing a cover 1 or cover 3 look. So if this is cover 1, then he's the single high safety. This is man on man. This is man on man. If this is cover 3, then this guy will drop back and cover this deep third. This safety will cover this deep third right there. And then this safety will come back will go back and cover this deep third. Either way. So that is the way it's mapped out. Let's go. We got play action fake. That draws in the linebackers. That's what you want to do. That opens up space behind for this crosser to run behind and have space back there. And you're going to see Van Jefferson. He's going to break to the inside, and then he's going to bend this to the outside. Now, from the way that this is being ran, this is looking like it's cover 1, with this being, man coverage there, and then this safety is almost completely off the screen as the single high. And you can see that this corner route is coming. It's going to carry this cornerback with him and clear this space for this crosser that's about to run right there. And you can see Wilson is looking in this direction. So that is his first read. That is the way Shanahan teaches it. That's the way it's taught throughout for the majority of the time. This is the way it's taught throughout the league. And so that's not open. He doesn't like that. So he then changes his mind. He throws, and look how open Calvin Austin is now. Now, granted, this is like a mixture right here. This is actually, I don't know if this is, not every burner, every coordinator has their own way of running the concept. And running this out of 11 personnel, which is 3 receivers, you've got 1, 2, 3 receivers. And having Pickens in the slot here forces the defense to do something different with what they would normally do. And Pickens kind of running this middle field, whatever it is, again, it's going to clear even more space for Austin to continue to run this crosser over here. And it's just wide open. It's perfect. No matter which one of these two guys is supposed to take Austin, it doesn't happen. He gets wide open. I mean, look at all that space. That's what it's meant to do. That's what these high crossers are meant to do in the play action game. So that's burner. Now, this one, I've seen some people call this one Blazer. I actually see this one as rage. Now, they are two different. It's another high cross play action, but Blazer and rage are different. Blazer is, you got your high cross coming across here. Blazer starts with an outside stem and then kind of bends back to the middle almost as like a skinny post, where you want to try to force this corner to stay outside of you, and then you cut to the inside. Not hard, but almost kind of like a skinny post, but that starts out kind of looking like that. So it would look like that would be Blazer. This looks more like rage to me, and I'll play it out here in a second. Again, you have the high crosser, but rage starts off selling what we just went over, burner. It sells burner, which remember burner starts off inside stem and then cuts to the outside on this pylon route. Okay, but instead, so it's inside stem and then it's a double move that then cuts to the middle. So you are selling, obviously, you're selling the Blazer. That's what you're selling, but you're actually running this. And this, by the way, so this is from 2023 when Arthur Smith was the head coach of the Falcons. That's Scotty Miller right there, who I have circled, who was on the Steelers last year. He's been re-signed, so he's on the Steelers again this year. And so you can see right here, so this definitely starts off as an inside stem, which is why I don't want to call this Blazer, because Blazer would be starting this off on an outside stem like this, and Miller does not do that. He starts off running to the inside. This is, again, Buccaneers are in cover 3 here, so deep thirds. Cover 3 is a complete zone defense. This is not man coverage principles whatsoever. So this safety in the middle, this is the great thing about multiple concepts here when it comes to burner, Blazer, rage, or what we'll eventually go over, ryder as well, is that it stresses this guy right here. It big time stresses this guy, because when you get to this point right here, this guy has to make a decision. He's going to either decide to step up and take away this high cross, or he's going to continue to maintain depth to take away whatever deep route this is. And if it's ryder or something else that possibly attacks the middle of the field, this guy's more forced to maintain his depth, which then opens up this high cross. However, if he sees the receiver start to bend to the outside like this, he might just assume, okay, this is burner. So he's running this corner, which means I know that this cornerback has that, so I don't have to worry about that. There's nobody else coming deep, so now I can step up and take away that. Like, you're not going to get this high cross. I'm going to take that away. That's the beauty of rage. It's a great change up to offensive coordinators who have a lot of burner in their playbook or on film. Teams watch film on each other prior to the game. They know, okay, Arthur, these Shanahan type offenses, Shanahan type play action, they like to call burner. So we're going to get ready for it. And then, double move to the inside. And the quarterback does a good job of throwing this with anticipation. Again, ball starts to separate there. He's just now starting to get out of that break on the double move. He lets go of the football. And now middle of the field is wide open. And so that's what it does. Scotty Miller makes the catch. It's a great job. So Rage plays off of Burner using that double move. But also, I don't have another play set up to show Blazer, but Blazer does the same thing in terms of how it's attacked. You have the high cross here, and then Blazer, instead of doing this, that, which is what Rage is, Blazer is outside stem that then cuts to the middle on a skinny post-ish type route. But again, the reason why Blazer can be similar to Rage is that when this guy starts off on the outside stem, this safety right here is going to think, oh, well, this corner's got that because it's an outside route. So he's got that. And so by the time this high crosser is coming over here, like, for example, if the Falcons are running true Blazer instead of Rage here, and you have this high cross coming, and instead of Miller being here, he's actually kind of more here, this cornerback is going to be further over here, which means this safety is going to be more inclined to want to read this guy more than having to feel like he has to help cover that guy. See what I'm saying? Hopefully. I hope I'm explaining it well enough. So that is both an explanation of Rage and Blazer. Both have the vertical route, whatever the vertical route is, attempting to attack the middle of the field, whether that right there being Blazer or whether it being Rage, which is inside stem, selling Burner, and then a double move to go back to the inside. So that right there is both Rage and Blazer, which are two very, very good, again, Shanahan concepts, play-action concepts that are in Arthur Smith's playbook that he wants to run. This right here is from 2023 also, but it is from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, these Shanahan concepts make their way around the league. Kyle Shanahan's a very, very smart offensive mind, and so the NFL's a copycat league. Other teams like to run it. This one is called Ryder, which, again, you have another high cross coming across, another inside stem route, but it just kind of carries and is just this kind of vertical route, which, again, it will stress the deep middle guy in a middle field closed coverage. This is very, very specific when we're talking about how do you attack the middle of the field when the defense is literally in a middle field closed coverage. Find ways to stress that defender, because that defender is the one closing the middle of the field, right? If this is cover 2 and this guy comes up and he's playing some sort of, zone, and these two drop back and it's cover 2, the middle of the field is going to be open. That's cover 2, cover 4. Those are middle field open coverages. Cover 3, which is what the Seahawks are in here, that is a middle field closed. We have two guys covering the outer thirds. And then you have this guy right here. He's taking this away. Like, you're not getting to the middle of the field. So the great thing about these play action concepts is that it stresses this defender. And you can see that here. The Seahawks completely bite on anything they're doing out of play action, which, by the way, this is play action out of shotgun, which every team runs this differently. Ryder is typically not run out of shotgun. It's typically run either from under center or in the pistol, usually run formations. You're trying to sell the run. But either way, the Seahawks had also been ran all over in this game. So these linebackers almost have to step up and make sure that they're not getting run on. So those linebackers play up, and now even though you've got 3 defenders deep against only 2 Steelers, because of the way this concept is designed, again, inside stem here, that's going to just keep going, right? So this guy has to continue to carry this vertical route. And because this guy's continuing to run to the middle of the field, this defender has to respect it. If he doesn't, if he steps up If he sees the high cross coming here and he steps up to take it away, then you're leaving the middle of the field wide open. So he has to. That's the great thing about Ryder. This is actually probably my favorite of the Shanahan concepts, is that as he's running to the middle of the field, he's getting closer. Like, this guy has to continue to run with him, and this guy has to continue to maintain depth, especially because this guy's named George Pickens, and he's a huge downfield contested catch guy, which, by the way, even though he's not on the Steelers anymore, they have a replacement in that in DK Metcalf, another guy who is very good at catching the football down the field. So, as this guy continues to go down and stress that defense, the crosser is going to come over. It's going to clear this space. He's wide open. By the way, this is Mason Rudolph at quarterback, so he has experience in executing these concepts. Makes the throw, easy pitch and catch, gets down the field, nearly scores a touchdown. These are play action concepts. These are drop back play action concepts. These are not let's roll out and attack where we have, we have a rollout and we're going to, as we're rolling out, we've got some sort of, high route, and then we have a crosser, and then we have somebody in the flat where we have the deep, we have the intermediate, and then we have the flat. You need that stuff in the playbook too, because you can't just run the same stuff all the time. But the problem with the 2024 Steelers is that they wanted to do that stuff all the time because Russell Wilson specifically doesn't like to throw to the middle of the field. Even though this ball ends up being caught at the numbers pretty much, this is still a way to attack the middle of the field. It opens up literally a middle field closed coverage. This is supposed to be middle field closed, but this opens everything up, and there you go. Like, this is good stuff, man. This is great stuff. Again, Arthur Smith learned this stuff from Matt LaFleur, who learned that stuff from Kyle Shanahan. This is good stuff. All right. So this is the Steelers executing a version of Ryder, and you can see how it had to be changed for Russell Wilson. This is against the Ravens last year. It may look like a bunch, or it may look like a heavier personnel, but this is actually 11 personnel. You've got Calvin Austin, Ben Skoranek is there, and you have Scotty Miller there. And then your one tight end is Darnell Washington. So for those of you who don't know personnel numbers, this is 11 personnel. That means one running back, one tight end, right? So if you hear 11 personnel, it's 3 receivers. If you hear 12 personnel, it's 1 running back, 2 tight ends, which means you have 2 wide receivers. So 13 personnel is 1 running back, 3 tight ends. So in case you didn't know personnel numbers, there you go. So right here, we're going to have the high cross. And then normally Ryder, again, you're going to be running this with an inside stem and you're just going to continue to go. But because of the way Russell Wilson likes to do this starts off kind of right at the corner, and then he kind of bends this to the outside as just this go route, right? Ravens are in cover 3 here. They're going to drop back. They're going to be in cover 3. So they move Washington in motion. You can see the play action. And again, watch the linebackers. You also have to sell a running play. They are selling here either power or they're selling power or counter. Well, with the way the guard is pulling there. So they're selling run here. Linebackers step up. And because the linebackers step up, you have this high crosser. This is getting open here. Now, this ball ends up getting caught by Calvin Austin way downfield. But by the time Russ begins to throw this football right there, I want you to tell me what is more open. What receiver of here and here is more open? This is the problem. Just because this works, a phenomenal throw by Russ, not denying that, and an even better catch by Calvin Austin. This right here is a low percentage throw. You are not going to hit this all the time. You're just not. It's a low percentage throw. This right here is a very, 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 very high percentage throw. The closest defender to him is about 6 yards away. You cannot get more open in the NFL. I mean, you can technically, but understand my point. You need a quarterback who is willing to hit this guy on a more consistent basis. Of course, if this is open or it's a favorable matchup, then yeah, trust your guy. But there's trusting your guy, and then there's just making the smarter play here. This right here is the smarter play. It's wide open. And if he catches this in stride, I mean, what would you rather have? Would you rather have this be caught there and then tackled maybe because all the defenders crash on him, tackled at about there, maybe the 40, 41-yard line, and have that be, if you were to play this play out 10 times, this is caught unless the receiver drops it every single time because of how open he is. We're talking even with a drop percentage based off of the receiver's, reliability to catch the football. This is still probably 9 times out of 10. This is a big, big gain. This right here, how covered that is, if you were to give that ball to Calvin Austin in that position every single time, I don't know if he comes away with that 5 times out of 10. You have to play the percentages also. And that's what these play action concepts can do. They can give you, it literally takes these middle field close situations and it takes him out of the equation. It opens this stuff up. This is what Arthur Smith wants to do. And he didn't have a quarterback who wanted to do this stuff last year. He just wanted to throw this go route all the time. He wanted to throw this ball to the outside the numbers all the time. He does it. He does a great job at doing it. I'm not denying that. But just because you see it work here doesn't mean that it worked all the time. This would work all the time. Or a lot higher of a percentage than this would. So, anyway. That's what Arthur Smith wants to do. And if it's Mason Rudolph, he's willing to do that. He's willing to make that throw. If it's Aaron Rodgers, guess what? We talked about Arthur Smith, where he learned this stuff from, learned it from Matt LaFleur, or at least was influenced by Matt LaFleur. Aaron Rodgers played for Matt LaFleur for 4 years. Shanahan play action concepts are not going to be foreign territory to him. He will know how to do it. And by the way, Aaron's play action numbers, attack in the middle of the field under LaFleur, were stupid good. 1 year he had a 158.1 passer rating. Anyway, that's enough for this one. Just explaining these type of play action concepts, how they work, why they work, what Arthur Smith wants to do. This is how it works. This is what it's meant to do. So, hope this helped explain some things for you guys. We'll be back tomorrow with another Chalk Talk. Catch you on the Flippity Flip. We'll see you later.